Well, hey, it's time for Studio Live today. And this is GarageBand Weekly, our weekly dose of GarageBand and Logic and Apple stuff and home recording stuff and general tech stuff. Let's be honest, it's the show that's called GarageBand Weekly, and we do talk about GarageBand, but we go off on tangents. It could be called Tangent the Show. See, I'm already on a tangent just doing the intro. We're going to do a deep dive into the iOS Files app today, so that will be a bit of fun. We're also going to go through some news and some notes, and we're also going to talk about just various general things as well. And if you have any questions, you can ask them. Yeah, I've got answers to your questions. All you need to do is put a big Q in front of your question, and I'll be able to attempt to answer it. We are brought to you, as we are each and every week, by my GarageBand iOS FAQ. That's at studiolive.today.com/GarageBand, and that's where you'll find all of my tips and tricks and groups and everything, including the answers to all your GarageBand questions. And the good news is GarageBand hasn't changed much in the last 2 years. Since I set this up. The bad news is GarageBand hasn't changed much in the last 2 years, but it does mean that it's still pretty fresh and pretty current and able to be used. Let me just check something real quick. Hooray! It's a miracle. I tested it earlier today, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't do my final test to make sure that my iPad was actually going to show up. If you recall, last week's GarageBand Weekly was even more ranty than usual because we didn't have my iPad showing. We had issues. All right. Now, let's say good day to the folks who are here nice and early, like the early birds getting the worms that they are. Hello to Al Davis. Hello to Thomas Christ, our wonderful moderator. G'day to you, Marky Mark, bro. I hope you are doing well. Deep Gravity's here. G'day to you. I saw Emilio. Haven't seen you for a while, Emilio. Hope you are doing well, my friend. And yeah, thank you for being here. If you saw your music live yesterday, yeah, you saw that there were some challenges. I had a problem with my audio, and then I had another problem with my audio, and I had to. Yeah, it's been a challenging time in the last sort of week or so for various reasons around here. But you know what? I said this. I was on Jade's show last week, and we were talking about various topics. And whenever I'm with Jade, we always reiterate the same thing, which is that life is just a sine wave. Now, some people's lives have big, giant highs and big, down, deep lows. Some people's lives just go along like this, and then there's accountants. I swear my accountant's life is just sitting in the middle all the time. Hey, Frank, hope you're doing well. But yeah, for most of us, it's ups and downs. And I just, you know what? The good news about when you sort of bottom out at one of those peaks down is that things will go back up again. And they always will. It's like the stock market. No matter how much any individuals try to tank it, it's going to go back up again. Yeah, it is the sine wave life that we live here in that, a sign of our times. And yeah, good to see you, Mark. We did give you a shout out yesterday because your absence is noted. Clearly, you were watching the Toronto game and watching our poor friends, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oops, they did it again. Yeah, if you know your hockey, you know that for the last 12 years, Toronto have been making inglorious exits from the hockey playoffs. So, yeah, shout out to my friends. Now, what's this experience and leaderboards and XP? Is this something that's going on? I don't know. There's something new every day on the world of live streaming and YouTube. I cannot keep up. I simply cannot. All right, should we dive into some news and notes before I get completely off track here? Let's do it. So, number one news and note I thought I would, and look, I learnt this because I just got an email from my website provider saying, hey, your website, logicipad.com, is about to be renewed. And I thought to myself, that means that our friend Logic Pro for iPad is turning 2. Oh, it's a toddler. It's toddling about, doing its thing. So yes, Logic Pro for iPad 1.0 was released on the 23rd of May 2023. Version 2 hit us on the 14th of May 2024. Will we see anything? We don't know, but that's the life cycle thus far. And yeah, since then, in Apple's credit, they have updated a lot. we've seen a lot of changes. We've had the wonderful stem splitter. We had that cool Chroma Glow plugin, that piece of analog kit. We've had, of course, the session musicians, the AI session musicians that they're called AI now. The improvements to the drummer alone were fantastic, but then we got bass player and keys player as well. So there's a lot of stuff in Logic Pro, and yeah, if you haven't already checked it out, check it out. I know this is a GarageBand show, but I know we have a lot of crossover with folks who use Logic Pro. So yeah, Logic Pro for iPad, 2 years old, and I know that Jade Starr's still using it on the regular. I'm still using it as my main DAW now. I still love creating in GarageBand. I've got to be honest with you. If I'm just sitting down to sketch out ideas, GarageBand is more intuitive and quicker for my process, but that's because I've been using GarageBand for 10 years and Logic Pro for 2. So in another year or two, who knows? Logic Pro might just become my go-to. And the other thing is, no Logic Pro on iPhone. So it means that if I'm creating something new or I'm sketching out an idea for a new project, I can't just grab my iPhone and open it there. It's only going to be on my iPad. So yeah, a couple of little cons to it. But hey, if that's the worst thing, that's good. That's a good thing. Yeah. It's in my chat. Is my chat doing the absolute opposite of what Pete Johns would want to do and making a competition out of something that doesn't need to be a competition? I was chatting with my parents. By the way, tangent the show, segue the show. I was having a chat with my parents last night, and they were saying, oh, because they like watching clips of music shows, like The Voice and Someone's Got Talent, and I can't believe it's not singing, whatever those shows are called. And I'm like, oh, and they said, oh, there's a kids version. I'm like, oh, great. So kids can have their dreams ruined because they get ranked in order of preference by subjective wankers in a judging panel. But and they know I say that now. I'm a freaking broken record. But yeah, just listening to music and watching the clips of that, and yeah, I just said, look, I just don't get it. And I went to a gig. So you know how most gigs used to be like battle of the bands. I went to this gig on the weekend, and it was fabulous. I've got some footage. Maybe if we have time, I'll show you some later. So it was in Festival Plaza here in Adelaide. Jade will know the area, right next to the festival centre, next to the Adelaide Casino, where Jade and I had a delicious noodle lunch a few years back. There's this big open plaza area. Think like sort of as like a square or what are those things that they have in like Rome and stuff? Anyway, big open area. They had 3 stages, and they had all of these young bands just rotating through. They'd play a 15-minute set, and then they'd have 5-minute changeover, 15-minute set, 5-minute changeover. And they rotated around these 3 stages. And I was blown away. And the thing that I loved the most about it was that there was nothing competitive. No one was winning, no one was losing. Everyone was just being celebrated for their awesome music. And I know it's like but should we all get 8th place trophies and participation awards? Isn't that wanky? No. I want more XP. The XP is frozen. So they've gamified. It's not as reliable as Windows XP. And look, it probably is the Twitchification of YouTube. Let's be honest. Everything wants to be everything else now, don't they? Well, there you go. Well, I'm intrigued now to see what's going on. Maybe we'll do a live look in to the live chat and see what that is after we do the news, because we better get to the news. So we've only done one item thus far. Look, I'm a massive Foo Fighters fan, so I couldn't not talk about the fact that they have fired their drummer. Which, if you didn't know, Taylor Hawkins passed away about 3 years ago now. About 6 months after that, they hired John Freese as their drummer, which is this bloke here. And yeah, they have parted ways. And he says, I'm not angry, just a bit shocked and disappointed. It sounds like a parent, doesn't it? I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And it says to me that if something like this happens and then the media grab it and they start talking about the fact that this person had no idea and it was such a shock to them, then you're not managing expectations. But then again, these are rock and roll dudes that have probably been drinking and smoking weed and doing drugs for nigh on 40 years now. So they're probably not exactly the best at management. But seriously, Foo Fighters, hire a management consultant, hire some PR, do a little bit better with this sort of stuff, because I get it. And Dave Grohl, imagine being the drummer for Dave Grohl's band, like subjectively one of the greatest drummers of all time in rock music, and then you're their drummer. Like, talk about pressure, right? A little thing. All right, let's oh, thank you, Jade. Jade's given us some information here. So let's talk this now, and then we'll go back to the news and notes. So yeah, so sorry, Josh Freese. I guess there'll be a new drummer. Dave Grohl will just play drums and guitar. He's that good. He'll do one with one hand and leg, and the other with the other hand and leg. Somehow. All right, the Chat XP feature on YouTube allows viewers to earn experience points by participating in live chat during live streams. This feature encourages engagement and interaction. YouTube's chat system tracks the activity of users in live chat, awarding XP for various actions like sending messages, participating in polls, or answering questions. That sounds like we should do a poll. Should we? Should we do a poll? We're going to go all over the place here today. So I've jumped over to there. Oh, look at this. It's all different. It's all very different, isn't it? Okay. So we've got, what's this? Community leaderboard. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is different, isn't it? There you go. So currently, Mark, Jade, and Tom are leading the way. Al, Jaden, Deep Gravity, Amelia. So, what are the? It puts your little number there. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, let's do a poll. Give us your poll. All right, let's start a poll with the audience. What do you think of the new XP system in YouTube live chat? And we'll go rad. Read? Is it rad? Is it meh? Or is it boo? There you go. Cast your votes now whether you think this new chat system is rad or meh, which means average, or boo, which means they're bad and they should feel bad. A poll. Poll Volta. Poll it up. Yes. All right. While you vote on that, we see the effect that has on the live chat. Hello. We've got double Emilio. Hello, Emilio Cosmino. Good to see you here, my friend. The only thing better than Emilio is double Emilio. It's a bit like standards. The only thing better than having standards is having double standards. Thought this was interesting. The Rode Pod mic, the mic I'm talking to you right now, is definitely gaining traction. I see it more and more. No, don't give me notifications. I see it more and more on the desks of not only those in the know, but kind of regular users. And I think the only thing that Rode missed with this, and this review says it, is that it doesn't have the USB feature. So the Shure SM7V, I think it's called, something like that, S7V, something like that. It's very similar, but it does have a USB functionality. And I think the one thing that Rode with its pod mic, in fact, is there a pod mic USB? Maybe there is. Maybe I'm not aware of it. Pod mic USB? Rode pod mic USB. Yes, there is, but it's just a lot more expensive. Okay, pod mic, USB, and XLR. Okay, so they've solved this problem. Forget I said anything. But yeah, the regular version, the $150 version that we all buy, is only XLR. So that's why they say it's more of a professional microphone. But yeah, with the USB, forget I said anything, because I think it's the choice of. And here's the thing for you, Rode, for all those worried about the T word at the moment, the tariffs, made in Australia. I only figured that. I honestly thought, I knew that they were owned by an Australian company. I knew they were designed in Australia, but I thought it was a bit of an Apple thing where it was like, oh, designed in California, made in China, but designed in California. Whereas this is actually made, manufactured, distributed, sold from, it's all in Australia. So if you need good quality gear without paying all the tariffs, because guess what, folks? You know what Australia doesn't do? Add tariffs to anything. Not stuff like this. And I think at the moment, what are they? 10%. So you'll only pay for your $150 Rode mic. Maybe it'll cost you $165 if the tariffs stay a thing. Yeah. See, I didn't know that. So you can get all my gear recommendations, but take it with a grain of salt, because apparently I didn't know that there was a USB version of the pod mic. But yes, they are gold. I need to wash my little thing here, because it's a bit crusty. You needed to hear that, didn't you? Because you get spittle. You got to wash your little fuzzies every now and then. You got to wash your fuzzy bits, folks. You're here for the polls and the fuzzy bits. All right, how's the poll going? Out of interest, let's close it off and see. So your poll. Let's come back over here. So 12% say rad, 62% say meh, and 25% say boo. We only had 8 votes. So let's see. If we end the poll, does this give those who answered the poll some XP? Can you believe that this is a thing? Oh. Alrighty. Joel says I'm not so cheap that I can't pay a tariff or 2 or 20. You'll be paying. Oh, you'll be paying tariffs. Oh yes, you will be paying. Let's see. Well, no, so it's locked at 75 XP. So it seems that is the maximum XP you can get. And is Mark, Jade, and Thomas, did they get an XP bump over everyone else because they're moderators? That's going to go down well to the crew that wants spanners for the reason of power, and now they'll just want them even more because you get an XP bonus. I want my big XP. Let's have some coffee. Now, Apple have done some interesting things. Oh man, these news sites are getting worse. You got no XP. Yeah, no XP from the poll. Got to keep it off the poll. These websites, tell you what, Tech Radar wants to send me things. It wants to do things. So Apple have added a couple of new things. They first added the new ambient music. If you haven't checked this out, I'll see if I can do it here on my iPad, and if I can show you. Yeah, I've got them set up here. So they added a new ambient music feature, which is actually pretty cool. It seems to source music. So these ones down here, so you've got like a sleep one, an awake one, a study one, a love one, and you can add these by, if you tap and hold here on your command center and go add a control, it's in here. If you've got Apple Music, it's in here somewhere. I found it originally and added it, and now I don't know where it is. Can we just go music? There it is. Ambient music. So if you add these in here, now I'm not going to play any of them because I don't actually know exactly where they're being sourced from and exactly what the copyright content situation would be with them. But they're pretty cool. If you haven't tried them, if you've got Apple Music, they're 100% free. And instead of you having to, go find that ambient sleep music playlist that you hear and you've heard the same playlist over and over again, it kind of generates you your own sleep or relax playlist. So they released that feature very quietly. I don't think anyone but me cared. I look at all the new Apple features when they come out because I get the press releases, and every time a press release comes out, I'm like, oh, something new and cool. Oh, something old, and no, it was fine. It was good. So now they've got these new sound therapy playlists, which are actually featuring some artists, so United Media Group artists, so the likes of Glass Animals, Imagine Dragons, Katy Perry, designed to help you focus, relax, or sleep. To do this, instrumental tracks have been adjusted by scientists and audio engineers to include sound wave profiles that might help you achieve your desired state. So, look, I haven't played with these yet, but every time I see a music-related thing and an Apple-related thing, I talk about it. So, yeah, go and check that out if you've got Apple Music. In fact, let's load up music here and see if they're actually pimping it out to me here. Come over here. Yeah, there it is. So there's my focus station, and I haven't got this set up to play, but if we turn it on, oh, it's playing Beck. Okay. For the birds. The birding project. The heck? What the heck, Beck? There you go. That's pretty cool. I'm on the wrong screen, aren't I? There you go. All right. So yes, there you go. Oh, just testing. There you go, Thomas. Testing that. uh, I think it might need a little bit more baking. Let's see. Did the super chat affect Thomas? Can you pay for XP? Let's find out if you pay. No, if anything, Thomas, it dropped you down. Thomas super chatted, and he went down to number 4. It put Joel further up. We'll be keeping an eye on the leaderboard as the show progresses. Maybe I need to do another show straight after this one just to test it out. Didn't change a thing. Oh, Sylvie. So what's it done for Sylvie now? Yes, if everyone could donate, I'll just test. Let's experiment it over and over again. So Sylvie has donated. What's it done to your XP, Sylvie, by donating there? It has done nothing. So donating doesn't. I guess that's a good thing. I guess that's a plus that at least it doesn't give you all that. Um, it just so yeah, not even in the top 10, Sylvie, and you've donated. What the heck? All right. I'll try not to get too distracted by that. But thank you. Thank you that. Oh, it's just sorting alphabetical order. Oh, so poor Thomas Christ is never going to be there. Now we're going to have people like people changing their username to Aardvark A1 just so that they can be at the top of the XP leaderboard. Oh man. I know. Who cares? It's exactly right, Sylvie. But clearly some people care. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it, right? It's just a bit weird. Is it the 1st of April? What's going on here? All right. But you didn't have it, Jay, did you? Because I was in your chat and this wasn't there. So I've got some experimental feature, clearly. I'm special, not in a good way. What else is on my lists of things to talk about? Apple Ambient Music. And the new accessibility features are pretty cool. So Apple did release a bunch of new accessibility stuff, including, I don't know if you saw the video, but there was a very cool video showing like haptics for music. Oops, I'm showing the screen only. You've lost me. People are like, that's an improvement, Johns. Showing on your iPhone that showed this hearing impaired musician creator that makes music, and he was listening to his own music, and he had his phone strapped to his arm and like lifting weights, and it was using the haptics to like. It's time for security now. Oh, I'm playing a Twit podcast. It was using the haptics to like tap along with the music, and I'm like, you know what? Anything you can be skeptical about that. In fact, I was telling my wife, and I'm like, "Oh, they've got this new feature," and she's like, "Yeah, that's just what we need when we're listening to music. Is more distraction with buzz, 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 buzz." And I'm like, and I showed her the video. It's like a minute and a half, and it's showing this guy who was like caught in Hurricane Katrina, and he got bad ear infections, and now he's got really limited hearing, and he was listening to his music and had the vibrations, and he was like jamming out to it. And she's like, "Okay, now I feel terrible," because that's actually really cool. So it is cool. Go look it up if you would like to. Hello, Dwight Bailey. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, Dwight. So that's the news and the notes that we have here for today, I think. Yeah, we've covered everything. So if you do have any of your own questions, comments, suggestions, or anything that you would like to add, I wonder if I get XP. Hi, this is me farming XP. It's so weird. Experience points for live chatting. And is this for Twitch heads? Is this a Twitch thing? Is this just them trying to be a little bit more Twitch-like with this whole thing? I don't think I've made it onto the leaderboard though. No, you can't get onto your own leaderboard. Oh, hello, Talby Kitty. See, it's outing people that might just want to be lurking too. So I can see people that aren't even saying hello that are popping up in there. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I was talking to my wife. Okay, quick rant, and then we'll go to our feature topic because I do want to talk about the Files app and Files on iOS because this is something that I get a heap of questions about and people often struggle with. So I thought we'd cover off in a little bit of detail how you can use the Files app and how I use the Files app to manage my files. So please share your experiences if you're here live or if you're watching on the replay, because my wife and I are currently baffled and she's getting frustrated by it, and look, it's semi-related because it's when you order things, you order tech and it comes and it gets delivered to your door. Why is nobody ringing the freaking doorbell anymore? The last 10 deliveries we've had, and it can be anything. It can be Amazon, it can be eBay, it can be just the postie, that's mailman, mail person, it can be our food delivery. No one's ringing the freaking doorbell. And is it that people don't want to have personal interactions? Are they desperate to just drop and run? Because the reason that we're so kind of passionate about this is that just before Christmas, my wife bought herself a hair straightener. It got dropped on the doorstep. They didn't ring the doorbell. She was home, and 30 minutes later, we get a notification on our front door doorbell. Oh, person seen. Yeah, it's a person running down our driveway, grabbing the parcel and buggering off in a car at high speed. So if they had simply reached up and gone, ding dong, it would have notified us. that there was a parcel there. But instead, they leave it. And the Amazon ones are the worst. And I know these are the last mile drivers for Amazon. These are the folks that get paid very little money to get in their own private car. They go to a location, they pick up a bunch of parcels, they drive them there, they drop them, they take a photo, and then they move on with their life. And they get paid like $1 a package. So I get it. The company is exploiting their labor, but that's kind of not my problem. Is that a nice way of saying it? That the trillion-dollar company should, I don't know, pay for better staff if that's a real problem. But I'm wondering, is it a bit like the phone thing? Is it a bit like the difference between answering your phone like that and talking on the phone like that and walking around talking into your phone like that, which is what the kids do now? Am I just too old? Are doorbells a gone thing now? Does no one ring doorbells? And should we adjust to the new way of doing things? Or are we 100% right and they're wrong and they should feel bad? What is it? Because it's pretty frustrating. And that's the thing. Like, yeah, they should at least send a text. And most of them you get an email, but I don't. You know me, Thomas. I don't have notifications on, so I don't check the email immediately. But yeah, there is an email there. But it's so annoying. Me too. They don't ring the bell. Ringing the doorbell is so last year. Yeah, I know. So this is it. And you know why I got my stuff delivered here? Because I used to get it delivered. I've got a PO box, but my PO box is like that big. It fits about 3 letters, and that's all. But every time I got a parcel delivered, here was the problem. I would go to the post office, and do you know who was in line at the post office? People with paper bills and cash paying their electricity bill. People sending parcels to Guatemala. People like filling in passport application forms. People having their photos taken for passports. I once stood there waiting 10 minutes to collect a parcel while they took someone's photo 15 times because they couldn't grasp the concept of the fact that you can't smile in your passport photo. Am I getting a bit cartoon level hate over this? A little bit, but it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Yeah, because I thought solved. Like I pay for my post box, but every time I go there, there's a lineup of without being ageist, people, older people in my area, and they're all lined up to get things. And I'm just like, I literally have my thing. I hand to the dude, and then he hands me back the thing. Not to mention the times where I go there and they're like, "Oh, we'll try and find it." I'm like, "You don't have a system?" And he's like, "No, we just got this big rack and this big box, and just everything gets chucked in there. And when someone comes, they try to find it." Ugh. They always ring the bell. What do you do? Do you just have? We're thinking of putting like a big sign with an arrow that just says "Please ring doorbell," like just surrounding the doorbell. I'm like, having to put a sign next to a doorbell saying "Please ring doorbell" seems counterintuitive. It seems like it should be a basic thing. Oh, Denise, hello to you. Oh, it's just anyway. I don't know. I don't know why I let these things bother me, but I think because it bothers my wife. Like, I don't know if you have this, but anything that bothers my children or my wife is suddenly the worst thing in the world for me. Like, there's things that I'm like, yeah, that's a bit annoying, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I have a problem with that. And then as soon as it's something that my kids or my wife are unhappy about, I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. They won't get away with this. They're going to pay for this. Yeah. All right, we're going to run a little ad now. You may get an ad, you may not get an ad. And when we return, we're talking files. So 3, 2, 1, hit the button. Don't worry, you're not missing anything interesting here. I saw some pelicans the other day down by the river. So I go for walks by the river, and there was 2 pelicans there. And it was quite a sighting. There's 2 big black swans that hang out down by the river, and I see them quite often. And they're like a regular thing. But to see 2 pelicans just chilling, and they were like just standing there in the sun doing the big wing flappy thing, drying out their wings, enjoying life. And I'm like, oh, to be a pelican. All right, welcome back, folks. If you missed my pelican chat, then you then you were served an ad, and I hope it was an interesting one and not anything terrible. All right, let's talk files. We're at the halfway mark. Let's talk files. And Al Davis has a tip regarding the Files app. So let's start with that. And if you have any tips regarding your use of the Files app, why you use it, why you don't use it, how it's good, how it's not good, please throw them in the chat right now, and we'll dive over here to the iPad and have a play with it. So what's Al's tip? If you want to open a RAR file, just rename the RAR to zip and it will extract. Really? Are you really? Because what was it? Jade and Tom were talking about. There's another app that you can use to unrar things, but you can just do that. That's pretty epic. I didn't know that. So it must be there must be unrarring abilities built into the iOS file system, but they just don't broadcast it. I wonder if I have a RAR file anywhere. I bet I don't. Let's start. To search files here, we can actually hit the search button and we can search like .rar. No, I don't think I have any RAR files. RAR. Yeah, I used to have a lot of RAR files. If you don't know RAR, the extension RAR, it's just another sort of compression algorithm similar to a zip file. Customer service is dead. I know. Isn't it sad? But yeah, maybe I can find a RAR file. Is there anywhere I can legitimately download a RAR file? See, because back in the day, most of the places that you download RAR files from were not legitimate. Download.rar version. Let's see. So that's just WinRAR. Yeah, it's going to be hard to find a file that's a RAR file. Anyone got a RAR file? How do I install a RAR file? Anyway, good tip. I'll trust you on that one. I used to use an app called Archives. Yeah, there was one called like File Opener or something for that's a free iOS thing that would work too. All right, so let's start at the very beginning. Assuming you know nothing of files. So let me give you a little history lesson here. We'll jump out of here. A little history lesson about files in iOS. So all the way up from iOS 1 all the way to iOS 10.4, we had no Files app. We had no accessibility to files. So if you were using something like GarageBand, you didn't even have a view like this where you could look at your GarageBand files in here. You just had a list of your projects. And the only way to transfer files in or out of an iPhone or iPad was to either download them and copy them across. Couldn't even connect up USB drives, or to sync it with a computer. And if anyone lived the iTunes sharing sync life, you have my condolences, because it was an absolute pain, especially if you're a PC user. Mac users had it a bit better, but what you would have to do, does anyone remember this? Put your hand up if you remember this. You would have to say in your sharing options, so you'd come in here to a GarageBand project, for instance, and you would share it like you do now. You hit the share button here, and here, instead of sharing it directly, there was another option here that said share to computer or share to iTunes. And so you'd share it to your iTunes file sharing. Then you would have to connect up your iPhone or your iPad directly to your Mac or your PC via USB. And then you would have to actually sync it up and it would transfer those files. So it would transfer the files either to or from your PC. And it was just as horrifying as it sounds. So I've got an old iPad that's stuck on iOS 9 that has these, and I've got some old projects on there, and I got no idea how to get them off, because what I'll have to do is find a computer that has an old enough version of iTunes that has iTunes file share. iTunes doesn't even exist anymore, by the way. I think it does. I think there's legacy versions of it you can use, but now it's all just like the music app, especially on Mac. And I'm not sure exactly what's happened on PC, because I stopped using PCs regularly in 2021. So, yeah, I say all that to say, when iOS 11 launched and the Files app was released, oh, it was so good. And look, is the Files app perfect? No. Has it been improved over time? A little bit, but it's better than nothing. It's so much better than nothing. And now we have access to using other services. Cloud service. You can upload and download from cloud services. You can plug in USB drives. You can copy and paste things across different systems. And we, of course, have AirDrop now. That was the thing we didn't have before either. So around that same time, AirDrop became a lot more useful. So you can indeed transfer things from one device, one iOS or iPadOS or macOS device, to another using AirDrop. So all of that came with the Files app. Now, if you don't have the Files app, maybe you went on a deleting rampage and you've removed the Files app. No fear, you can jump in here to the App Store and it is available. It is an Apple app. So you come in here and you just type in the word Files, and the very first one that's not an ad will be a file. Why do Apple bother with this? Are they making enough money from having these ads to ruin our searches all the time? Anyway, so there's the Files app. You download it and then you open it. And we will go through all of the things that we can do with files. So let me get my list up. All right. So what is it? It's a file manager. If you've used Norton Commander back in the day, or the File Manager app, or the Finder in Mac, you know what we're dealing with here. You have folders. In this case, you have locations over here on the left. So you can go to the different locations. On your iPad is exactly what it sounds like. This is stuff that's saved directly to your iPad. You've got your iCloud Drive, which is stuff that is saved and backed up to your iCloud Drive. You've got other locations here. So if you've got things like OneDrive, I don't have it connected or turned on at the moment because I don't use this. Documents, there's another app there. A SanDisk Connect app from an old SanDisk thing that I had. And AudioShare. We'll talk about AudioShare in a minute because that's one of my hidden gems of file management, is using AudioShare. You'll also notice here that I've got a USB drive connected, which is something that we can do now, which is super duper handy. And then once you go into your locations, you've got folders. So you've got folders set up here, and you'd be familiar with folders. If you've used a computer ever, you know how this works. It's the old filing cabinet analogy where everything's in a file, and then in that file are other files, and in that file are other files. That nested folder structure that we have there. The other thing we have here is a recent. I did a recent video about recent, telling you why you shouldn't use recent. Recent is not a folder, it's not a location. It is just a list of recent files that you have used. And the problem with that is it doesn't update automatically. If you say update something in the iCloud Drive, it waits for it to upload before it goes here, so it won't always show your most recent file. And if you are trying to save a file and it defaults to the recent tab, it won't let you save it. I've got a video about how to convert video to audio, and about half of the comments, I had to make the video about recent tab and then put it as the first pinned comment on that video, because about 50% of the comments I was getting on that video is, "Don't work, brah. It gets to the end and then you can't save it." And every single one of them was because they used the Recents tab. And if all they did was go tap and then press it, it would work. So you need to actually save files to a location, not to your recent or your shared tab up here. All right, let's move on. So locations we've talked about. You can edit the locations here. So you can tap up the top and you can actually edit your sidebar, and you can see that we've got different locations that we can add in here. So anything that's installed, so I've got Google Drive installed and Dropbox installed, for instance. If I want to add Google Drive to the location, I tap that one on. I can reorder these by moving them up and down. So something I should have done a long time ago is put my iCloud Drive at the very top. See, now I'm going to get so confused because it's always been third down. But put that right at the top. That way it's the first thing because it's the thing I use the most. Hit done, and there you go. And if you've got a location like this that says like that, it means you haven't logged in to that app. So you do have to log into the app behind the scenes to have it here as a location. Your downloads folder. Down here in your favorites will be your downloads folder. Now, this downloads folder, if we tap and hold on this one and see, we'll show you a bit more about this later, but if we go to the Get Info button, we'll see where this one is stored. So this one is stored in iCloud Drive and Downloads. So sometimes you'll have a Downloads folder that is here on your iPad, and you'll have another one that's here on your iCloud. See, I'm already confused by the fact that I've moved them on your iCloud Drive. So if you're missing a file, if you've downloaded something and it's not where you think it is, it might be because your downloads are in the other section. I have a separate downloads iOS folder that I've got set up there. And just like everything else, if we go to edit sidebar again here, see how we've got our favorites down here? We can actually add things as favorites, or we can remove them there. Let's see if I can I put, say, AudioShare down in the favorites? No, how do I do that? See, I haven't used this in a while. I've forgotten how to actually add as a favorite. You can do it. Maybe we tap and hold on it. Open a new window, remove the sidebar. I can't remember how to do that. If someone can remember and do me a solid, how do we add it as a favorite? Because I don't have it in my list of things to talk about, which means I didn't cover it in the past before. Yes, tagging. We will talk tagging in a jiffy. So your downloads folder is where everything generally goes. In fact, tagging is the next thing that we will talk about here. So you can actually tag different files and folders. So down the bottom here, you have your tags. And what do I have? I've got in progress, ideas, complete, blue, purple, grey. So how do we actually tag things? That's a great question. Should Johns have done a little bit more research before he actually did this one? Because I don't use tags, so I have forgotten how these actually work. Let's just go into my completed. Whoop, don't delete things. Go to my completed section here, and there we go. So there's our tags. So if I wanted to tag this boom boom test 2, I could tap the tags button there. And say I was working on this one, I could tag it with the in progress tag, and then it'll put this yellow dot next to it. So if you wanted to be like super organized, you could have everything in a folder, and then you could have like in progress, and then when it was done, you could come back here to your tags and change it to complete, and then take off the in progress. So you could do that. And then you can actually come in here to your tagged files and it will show you just those tags. So if I was smart, if I was working on some projects, what I would do is anything I'm working on at the moment is I would use that there. So I would tag them with in progress, and then instead of having to go and find them all in their own folders, in their own drives, in wherever I've stored them, I could just go to my tags and go, right, what am I working on? And what have I just finished? So there you go. Long press a folder and select favorite and it was added to the side. Long press a folder. Okay. So you've got to go actually into a folder. That's right. Because you can't favorite a location. You can favorite a folder. So let's favorite one. Thank you. Thank you, Al Davis. This is why we do these things live. So if I wanted to say favorite my GarageBand for iOS folder, I can tap and hold this one and tap on favorite. And boom, there it is down there in my favorites. So, and I'll do the same for Logic Pro. This is actually something I should do. This is one of those shows that I did because I, I knew that it would probably help me get a bit more organized. Because what I should really be doing is bring my locations and my tags down. And if these are the folders I work in all the time, is just opening up and having this. Because let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, I'm either in here, Logic Pro for iPad, or I'm in here, GarageBand for iOS. So, yeah. Hello, Oofsy Baba, by the way. Thank you for being here. And if you're here on the replay, hello, replay crew. You get no XP. Or maybe you do. I don't know. We'll check in on XP again at the end. All right, that's your favorites, your location, your files. Copying files, simple. The way I use this is that I generally copy files by copying them and pasting them. So you can actually drag files. And the reason I don't is that it can get a bit clunky. So if you come in here and I wanted to like take this template, I could drag it and then I'd have to come in here to my iCloud drive and still holding it down. And I want to put it in here. You got to keep holding it down. You got to keep holding it down. And then you got to drop it in over. Oh, that's the same place it came from, is it? Yeah, that didn't work well. That's the same place I got it from. Let's try that again. To have it here, keep dragging it. Let's say I wanted to put it in my downloads folder. I'd go to iCloud Drive and downloads and then release it. Then it's going to copy that over. You can see there, copying, and it's put it here. And it's still got the little download thing there because it's only got like a placeholder to that one. I'd have to actually hit the download that button to download the actual file, which is, again, probably something to talk about right now. So there's two. Oh, we've crashed it. We crashed it. It does crash sometimes. So there's 2 different states that you'll see on your files here. One is the little cloud with the arrow. That means it's a file that's not currently on your device, but it is stored on, say, iCloud Drive. Let's find some of these for you so you can see exactly what we're looking at here. All of these ones. So anything that has that, so if we come in here to downloads, anything that has that little cloud means that all this stuff is not actually stored on my device. All this stuff is. However, if we actually change something, so if we come into this template, if it'll actually open this time, and let's say we just move some things just to make this save out, and then save it out like that. Now, where did it put it? Oh, you could see it uploading there. I didn't add enough there to make it. So we'll do this quickly again. So let's just record something in here. Record a bit of nothing. just to give it something to change here. And we jump out of that one. You'll see how I got the little thing there? And see how it has that cloud icon there? The cloud, you saw it briefly. The cloud that's just a dotted cloud, that means that the file has been updated on device and it now has to upload that back to the cloud. So cloud with download arrow means not on device, must download to get on device. So it's showing the cloud. Down arrow means you got to download it. The dotted cloud means that that file is on your device, but it hasn't updated the latest version to the cloud. The reason that's important is if you've got a big file and then say it's uploading and then you go to your phone and you're like, why can't I download that GarageBand project I just created? It may be that it's still in the process of uploading it to the cloud. So that's the little cloud icons explained. Creating new folders. Let's do some basic stuff here. So you might have noticed, I'm so confused with my locations now because yeah. Anyway, so to create a new folder, you might notice that here in my GarageBand, I've got a bunch of different folders. So, by the way, we can sort by name by tapping at the top there, so that we can put these in name order from the folder. And you'll see here that I've got like mine numbered. So I've got 1 ideas, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I wanted to create a new folder, up the top here, tap on new folder there. And I don't know what number I got up to with these ones, but let's just say I wanted 12 future ideas. And then boom, it goes in there and it goes back. I got it right. No, I didn't. 12 is kiddos. That's my children's folder. So, and 13's for logic. Okay. So yeah, you can do that and you can create that. To delete, no problem. We tap and hold and tap on delete. You can also delete by swiping to the left. So you can go onto a file or a folder, swipe left. I can't show you it with the cursor because when I use the cursor, it grabs it. So it's got to be a quick finger swipe to the left and then tap on the delete button. And that will delete it and send it away. So you can create new folders that way. You can also come in here and create a new folder by tapping and holding here and going new folder with item. So if you've got, say, something within here and you want to create a new folder and have that item in it, you can tap there and go new folder with item and it creates a brand new folder. But up the top there is the easiest way to get to your new folders. So how do I do copy and paste? If I don't drag it, what I tend to do is actually just tap it, not like that, is do a 2-finger tap and then tap on copy. At the top here, go to the place that I want to drop it to. So in this case, I'll just go to the downloads folder there, my dumping ground, tap again. And again, the 2-finger tap is like your right click here and hit, why haven't I got paste? Did that not copy properly? Let's try this again. Tap, copy, and we'll put it here, tap, paste. There you go. So your 2-finger tap is your friend here. So double tap, again, right click is like a 2-finger tap. So if you tap once, it'll just open, but if you tap with 2 fingers, tap with 2 fingers, no. That's because I'm sorry. The 2-finger tap is if you're using a touch bar. With this one, you can actually tap and hold, and you get that same menu. So there's 2 ways to get to that menu. It's a 2-finger tap if you've got it on a trackpad, or you can tap and hold, and you'll get that same menu. There you go. Remembering things as you go. Let's talk about compressing. So this is super important for GarageBand users. If you only listen to one thing about this whole thing, listen now and listen good. If you've got a GarageBand project, let's just say you really desperately wanted this template and you wanted to share this with someone else. I'm just using this as it's a very small file. So there is this cool template that I've created. What actually is this? It's just drums. Fair enough. So if you've got this template, you want to share it with someone. If you want to just airdrop it or send it to someone with a Mac or an iPhone or an iPad, you can just share it in the normal way. You can share it as a file, you can copy it, you can paste it, you can airdrop it. If you want to store this on Google Drive, Dropbox, you want to send it over any sort of cloud platform, you'll need to zip it up first. To zip it, again, we can tap and hold. And down, oh, are we in GarageBand? We are. I did this on purpose. I wanted to deliberately show you a problem here, which is that this looks an awful lot like this. And a tip for young players is that if you are trying to do a files-based action and it's not working, it's probably because you're in GarageBand And if you just flick back over to the Files app, you can actually do it. So let's go with this one now. So if we tap and hold on this, down the bottom here, you'll see compress. So we tap on compress and it will zip that up. See, there's that icon. So that zip file is currently being uploaded. There you go. It's done now. So now I can use this file and upload that to Google Drive, to Dropbox, to wherever I want, and then send someone the folder link, and then they can actually go and download it. So that's a super duper handy way to share and to back up your projects. So you can do that. You can back them up to cloud storage, and you can install them here. I don't have a lot of luck with this, to be honest. Directly copying to OneDrive or Google Drive or Dropbox over here, you can technically do it. You can just drag it across and drop it in there. I tend to use the app these days rather than Files app. So if I wanted to upload this file, and this is where recent can come in handy because it'll put your recent files up here, except it hasn't put that zip file, which is interesting. Because it's not an openable file, it hasn't put that zip file there. So let's just create, oh, there it is, it's in downloads. So we know it's in downloads, so all I would do here is open up the Google Drive app or the Dropbox app or the OneDrive app or whatever app you're using, hit the big plus button, go to upload file, and then browse for it. And it should be directly where we saved it. It won't be in the recent, will it? No, does not save zip files in the recent. But if we go to iCloud Drive and Downloads, there it is. So I can just tap on that one, upload that directly to my Google Drive, and then set that folder to be shared to folks. Easy as pie. What else can I show you here? USB drives. So I've got a USB drive. And I recommend these ones. These are the SanDisk dual drives. If you're buying USB drives, why not buy a SanDisk? Buy Mark, buy Jade, buy anyone who has to leave. Buy yourself one of these SanDisk dual drives. They come in different formats and different sizes and different form factors, but they have USB-A, and then you throw them to the floor. That has gone somewhere. Oh, wow. I don't know where that went. That has disappeared. They're so small and convenient. I was about to say, look, nothing's really gone that wrong today. And then I throw my USB on the floor and it's never coming back. What did I say? Well-oiled machine or train wreck. Sometimes you get a bit of both. So trust me that when you install your USB drive, it can, correction, it had a USB-A and now it's on the floor somewhere. So the good thing about those is you can plug them directly into your phones or your iPads, and they'll usually work these days because they have enough power. In the old days, you used to have to use powered hubs and special adapters. These days, they're pretty good. And then you can also plug them in if you've got a dongle like I use, like the Ugreen dongle I recommend. You can actually plug directly into that. It went to the lost pile. It is somewhere down there. So you can use USB drives, and you saw it earlier that it just showed up here. Let's finish off by talking about a couple of final things. AudioShare. So you'll notice here that I have AudioShare as one of my files here. If you don't use AudioShare, get AudioShare. Honestly, I don't say this about many apps, but it is going to save you so much time and so much hassle. And the cool thing about AudioShare is you can see here, I've actually got folders stored directly within AudioShare. So I've actually got a lot of my audio saved in my AudioShare folders, all of the different projects, all of the different zipped up versions of my stuff, the instrumentals for my whole album. Oh, it's not there anymore. I must have moved them somewhere else. So I use AudioShare. Jeebus. I really need, there they are. Why are they all out here? I need to do some organization in here because a lot of this stuff used to be in folders and now it's not. Good on you. So there's all of this is AudioShare, and not only can it like play audio, you've got wonderful sharing options here. You can trim, so you've got tools here to trim and fade and to normalize and to convert your audio to different formats. It's just a Swiss Army knife. It's got a built-in recorder, which is one of the best audio recorders when I'm at a concert or somewhere where I want to keep a personal record for personal use that personally probably shouldn't do, I will use AudioShare because it's just super reliable. And when you hit the button here, you can actually do things like setting your levels. And you can add in plugins directly in here. So the audio recorder is fabulous. It's got a wonderful feature here, which is the Wi-Fi drive. If you are a PC user or an Android user, take note. What you can do with this is when you turn this on, see this web address it gives you? You can go to that web address anywhere on your local network, and it will give you full read-write access to all of these files. That is huge. That is massive. And that used to be, when I used a PC, that was the way I would transfer my files between my PC and my iPhones and iPads, because it is just the easiest way. With AirDrop now, it's a lot easier, but that is a great feature. And if you want to find out more about AudioShare, search Pete Johns AudioShare on your YouTube. Final couple of things, recently deleted. So once you delete a file, it goes here into recently deleted. So here's all my recently deleted files, and it keeps them here for about 30 days, and then it completely expunges them. So if you accidentally delete something and you want it back, like I really want this Wordle New York Times file, whatever the heck that is, you can tap it and you can recover. And it will send it back from whence it came. If you don't know whence it came, you can get info, and it will actually show you where it currently is. And does it? I thought it showed you where it came from originally. Maybe not. But yeah, I think it will put it in your recent once you've done this. I don't use this super often. No, it doesn't. Well, that's useful. I guess you then have to search for it to find it. Let's just do that. Let's go to this automation glitch file. Let's recover that one, just so that I can show you how we can do this. And then if we search automation glitch, there it is. Tap and hold, get info. Yeah, so it's in LumaFusion User Media Files app. So there, I can go and find it there. So this is stuff that I've deleted out of my LumaFusion file. Now, once you're ready to delete everything from in here, whoop, allow paste. In recently deleted, go up to select here, and you can either recover all, which I don't want to do. I want to delete all. So tap delete all. It'll give you a, this is why when people delete their deleted items and then they're like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. It says, are you super duper magooper sure? Yes, you hit the delete button and away it goes. So all that recent deleted stuff is gone. So if you're running out of storage space, a lot of people come in here and they delete a bunch of stuff and they say, Johns, I still don't have any space. And I say, name of person, go to your recently deleted and delete them from there, and you'll be good to go. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good one. Did anyone have a nightmare that all your files were disappeared? Yeah, look, and this is why I talk about this sort of stuff often, and why the final thing I want to say is, if you have one copy of a file, it is not backed up. So if you have something on your iPad or even on a cloud storage platform, it's technically not backed up. Now, if I could choose one place over the other, it would be cloud. Because as much as you could say, I don't trust Google, I don't trust Apple, I don't trust Dropbox, I sure as heck trust them a lot more than the reliability of that one hard drive or that one SSD or that one internal storage on my phone. Because they can just die and never come back. And if you've only got one copy of something, it is not backed up. And what people do sometimes is that they take things and they put them on a USB drive and then they throw it on the floor and never see it again. So they put it on a USB drive and then they delete it from the original source. Guess what? Not backed up anymore. That's not how backing up works. Backing up is a copy. It is a second copy of a file, so that if something happens to the first copy, you still have the file. If you back something up and then delete the original, guess what? Not backed up. You've just moved the original file. So I say all that to say, why don't you go and check your backups today? That almost rhymed. Yes, iCloud and USB is the best way to go. To have everything on your iCloud drive, and then anything super important, you transfer across to a USB drive. Hello to Tassio Jr. Hugs from Brazil. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Losing my file until I realized it wasn't Dream and really lost them. I must admit, I still have flashbacks to when you were working on, like my sister did this. I didn't think I had a really bad version of this, but my sister once wrote an entire assignment in Word, hadn't saved, and got to the end, and the computer crashed and lost hours and hours of typing. Now, the beautiful thing about these days, as much as I despise some of the features of, say, Office 365 or what used to be called Microsoft Live and all the iCloud and OneDrive integrations, it does mean that your stuff's pretty much constantly being saved and backed up. It's very hard now to not have stuff available. So yeah, it is a better time for the world of backing things up. Yes, and don't make me cry. Don't make me cry with that stuff. I wanted to, before we finish up here, a couple of things. You're going to be sent to, for those that have that don't mind a bit of swearing. There's a special show that you'll be sent to the foyer of, the lobby of, after this one, which is myself and Mike from Creative Source. And we'll be talking this week at the very special time of the middle of the night for most of you, but check your local guides. We'll be talking about profanity and swearing and cussing and bad, naughty words in songs. What the impact of that has been. Has it changed over time? What's the history of it? Is it a good thing, bad thing, something in between thing? So, yeah, I hope you can join me for that one. And the other thing is, I wanted to make sure that you're aware that right now we have our mate Frank Terzo, who is, not surprisingly, not wearing his Toronto Maple Leafs gear this week on the Community Pulse. So if you're watching this one live or even on the replay, I've thrown a link there in the chat. You can go and say g'day and commiserations to Frank Terzo over on the Community Pulse. Who's he got on there on today's edition? Let's have a look. Hetriani's the co-host. Featured channel is Deep Song Productions. And who are they talking to over here? I can't actually tell. But go and check him out anyway. And look, we did want to check. Doesn't look like he has the craziness of the XP thing. So yeah, let's check in on ours. So if you're just joining us, look at this. Look what we got now. We've got this community section here where we can look at the community leaderboard. Oh look, hey, Jade Star and Al Davis have moved up to 100 XP. Reasons? No idea. Not a clue. Don't know how this works. But they have a little crown and little numbers next to their name, and we know that they're important. Yeah, not digging the XP. I'm not really loving it either. How to use the MIDI guitar in GarageBand. We don't have time on today. We're already over time, but please search it out. If you Google it, I'm almost sure that our friend Jade Star has. Is there a MIDI guitar? Are you talking about a MIDI guitar or the MIDI guitar app? Using a MIDI guitar or any MIDI interface or device is just as simple as plugging it in if it's USB. Or if it's Bluetooth, using the Bluetooth connection. The problem with GarageBand, especially on iPhone and iPad, is you can't map the keys. So if it doesn't map it correctly, you're kind of out of luck. So that's the one thing that I'll mention there. If it's the MIDI Guitar 2 app, which I think is an actual app for GarageBand, is it? I'm not sure. It's been a while since I looked at this stuff. We don't really have a lot of support for MIDI guitar stuff, unfortunately. But yeah, if you've got other questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section below, and I will try to answer them. If you're on the replay, you can do the same. Leave me a comment, leave me a suggestion, leave me a donation. Try to gain some XP somehow. And until next time, folks, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, keep creating. I'll see you next time here on GarageBand Weekly. Bye for now.